3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. Want to thank you guys again for tuning in for the Sunday Stock Talk. For those that are not familiar with who it is that I am, my name is Ricky. I run the largest YouTube channel and the largest private Facebook group for those who invest in the stock market. We have a little bit over 430,000 subscribers on YouTube and a little bit over 178,000 members within our free Facebook group. All the links are down below, so after this video, be sure to drop a thumbs up and to also just dedicate like 1 minute and check how we can stay connected for free. On top of that, our Sunday Stock Talk, we do this on a regular weekly basis, and it's when we come together as a team and we talk about the top stocks that you see value in. Every single Monday, I talk about the top stocks that I see value in, but on Sundays, it's all about you guys, right? So not you guys, but you guys. Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, altogether, super pumped. Make sure that whatever call out that you post is not just the ticker symbol, that it comes down and focuses or that it offers that ticker call out format, right? So make sure that you put the ticker symbol, support, resistance, entry point, sell point, why it has potential, and all that good stuff. Before we get started, I want you guys to see how amazing this is. All right, so how do I, all right, there we go. Boom, boom, pow, or boom, 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 right? So, all right, here we go. What's going on, Henry? So I want to ask you, so I just came back from my trip from Arkansas, right? How many of you guys are in the West Coast of the United States? How many of you guys are on the East Coast of the United States? And how many of you are not even within the United States? I want to see where we all are from. So I'm originally from Orange County, California. I moved out here to Arizona to go to school at the ASU Polytechnic campus. And there we go, East Coast, Canada. Oh, we got a lot of people from the East Coast. We might have to do a meetup over there. Holy moly. Where's everyone from the West Coast? What the heck? This is so freaking cool, isn't it? Isn't it so amazing that, again, a simple little reminder. And I really do appreciate all of you guys tuning in. A nice and little simple reminder on how important it is just to realize that on your Sunday, when you can just be sitting back, watching TV, doing something that's actually entertaining. I have to admit, I'm not the most entertaining person out there. I don't think there's any question about that. But the really cool thing about what you are doing is that you come together on a Sunday at around 6:30 p.m. every single Sunday, and we talk about the top stocks that we see value in for this week in preparation to have a successful week. You are doing something. You're investing time and effort into just bettering yourself. And I just want to give you like a huge pat on the back. Thank you again for everything that you do, and just remind you that you are not just average. You are here to work towards a better future. I just want to remind you that I think that that's simply amazing. Before we get started, I wanted to ask you guys what you guys think about the new TechBuds apparel. Let me know what you guys think. We got a long sleeve. I have the long sleeve, but I like putting hoodies on it. So when I go snowboarding here in Arizona, I think that this would be a pretty sweet, design to have. I don't know what you guys think about this. We have the profit one in long sleeve, and then the trade less, profit more. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Alrighty, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. How many of you guys are ready to have a solid week? All right, first of all, before we get started, huge drop on natural gas. This is where it closed out on Friday. Boom. So based on this track record, this thing dropped about 20 cents for natural gas, or about 15 cents from natural gas based on previous close. That's about the same drop that it had from when it opened on Monday. From when it opened on Friday. And if we go back to looking at how it traded on Friday, UGAS was down about over 20%. So we will most likely experience the same thing. Just want to remind you that that's why it's so important to not hold these over the weekend. We've talked about it multiple times, and it just doesn't get much more simple than that, right? So let me close this out, move this a little bit. There we go. Here we go. Boom. Alrighty. Sweet. Let's do it. Here we go. All right. Ticker call out format. Let's try to see if we can finish this live stream in 30 minutes. I'm sure that you guys don't want to hear me just talk for An hour. So let's be efficient. So just let's make sure that every single time that you post your call out, that it's in this ticker call out format. You see how they're dedicating time and effort to post it in that format? That's what it has to be. If you just post it in the ticker like this, that's not something that I'm going to break down. So what's going on, Jesse? Ticker symbol Siri. Sweet. I want to remind you that you should never trade based off of other people's opinion. You should only invest in what you understand and always have a plan when investing. Here we go. So what do you all think about Siri? S-I-R-I. All right, here we go. Consolidating, yep. So this is kind of like what I don't know if I've ever used this example before, but again, if you want to like kind of see like all the stocks that we've talked about in this video, just be sure to refer back to this like little left side column that I have going on over here. But the indicator that I like to use is, first of all, I like to have a general understanding of the overall direction of the company. So I like to look at the 180-day 4-hour chart. We saw that that based off of previous patterns, you know, Siri was showing signs of an uptrend. It was as it started to approach the $7 price point that we could see that this SMA line really started to flatline. It was no longer making higher highs. You know, it was no longer offering that ascending uptrend pattern. It really just began to flatline. And then that's when the sell-offs began to happen, right? This is kind of like when everything about 2 to 3 months ago began to sell off. And ever since then, we could see that the overall direction has been trending down. Recently, just like everything else, it's been trying to recover. Again, yes, we're at a low point based off of the SMA support that it's acting as right now. It doesn't mean that it's actually going to bounce there. Look at the direction of the EMA line. It's still showing signs of a downtrend. There is no confirmation of an uptrend. I like the Mkdi. RSI is decent, but again, we want to make sure that it validates that, you know, the SMA line is a support. And how do we validate that? By seeing higher highs. So we can simply follow up with it on a closer basis. You guys can look at the 5-day, 5-minute chart, whatever it is that you need to do, but just to have a better understanding that it's going to be showing signs of an uptrend. So again, it does tend to normally bounce based off previous patterns at around that 615 area. Now we just have to follow up with it and see what happens. So thank you again, Jesse, for that call out. What's going on, AK? So IRWD. Here we go. Okay, so again, same thing here. Overall, it was an ascending uptrend pattern over here, broke below the SMA line, and then began to sell off about 2 to 3 months ago. It's built a support. It's been showing signs of a downtrend. It built a support right around that $11 price point. That's great and all. We're seeing signs of a potential bounce around this $11 price point. You know, it's still trending below the EMA line. So we've talked about this multiple times before. You know, it shows signs of an uptrend, consolidate. So we're going to draw this as a resistance so we understand what's the ideal sell point. That makes sense, right? And then now, what did it do last time? So it was selling off, right? It was selling off. What did it do last time when it actually started to show signs of an uptrend? Again, if your sole focus is to grow your account, it makes sense to invest in patterns that are showing signs of growth. So as something continuously gets rejected by this EMA line and continues to make lower lows and lower highs, is that something that is attractive? No, it's not showing signs of growth. What did it do last time? Based off previous patterns, what did it do last time that indicated an uptrend pattern? It broke above this EMA line, the little light blue line that you see right here, right? It began to make higher highs, actually show signs of growth. Why is it that we're so quick to jump the gun and to say, hey, I'm just gonna get in right here because I wanna buy the dip and hope that it confirms an uptrend? When you can simply just set your alerts, follow up with it if and only if it begins to show signs of an uptrend. That's all. And then again, understanding that the resistance is right around $14. Great, this is a previous support. It doesn't mean that it has to bounce there. So that is why we're going to set an alert here. I mean, I like the RSI, I like the MACD. Now we just need to wait for the confirmation. It's that simple. So from $12 to about $14, again, that's a decent margin of profit. You getting in right now, if you 100% want to get in right now, all power to you, right? We're not here to tell you where to buy or where to sell. But just ask yourself, is making an extra 50 cents per share really going to benefit you 5 or 10 years down the road? No, right? So why are you going to do it? Why are you investing for the now and not for the future? But you know what is going to devastate you now is if you take that position before it confirms the uptrend and then it still sells off and then you end up bag holding and not being able to cut losses and then you're down 10, 20, 30% and then now you never want to invest in the stock market and you're going to blame the market that it's just not in your favor, that it's just not like a market that you can make money on, but it's because you did not follow the rules. You did not follow a rule that you were 100% aware of. It's because it was based on an emotion. It was based off of FOMO, the fear of missing out, and just the simple understanding that if you would have just waited, if you would have just done what the 10% of the people within the stock market do, that 90% don't. And that's have discipline, structure, and actual criteria to validate a good investment. That's simple, right? Again, but it's the simple things that's kind of difficult for people to, not master, but just incorporate into a habit. Here we go. AZN. All right. AZN has been showing signs of a sell-off overall direction. SMA line, it's been showing signs of somewhat of an uptrend, right? It's been selling off recently, making lower lows and lower highs, right? Now we need to see a change of direction. I'm simply going to set an alert, and then we can follow up with it then. So AZN, sweet, thank you. What is going on? What's going on, Isaac? So ticker symbol DM. Here we go. Aggressive sell-off has been showing signs of an uptrend pattern. How's the volume on this one? Pretty low volume, 20-day, 1-hour chart. Okay, it's been ascending uptrend pattern. I like that. Again, if something's showing signs of an uptrend and you solely want to treat it, perfect example of in between the middle and top VWAP. Low points, breaks above the EMA line, buy. Sell point, and you also have to ask yourself if the margin of profit is worth it. And if it's not, then, there's no reason to get in. This to enter DM, in my eyes, wouldn't be because it's a good investment. I wouldn't invest in DM because I think it's a great deal, right? That's what out of the 3 criteria that we normally like to focus on is a good deal, right? I like the uptrend. I like the pattern. I understand the first 2. The last thing is good deal. It's not that it's a good deal and the reason that I would invest in it, but it's because it's been consistently, actively trending up that I find that to be attractive with the understanding that it would solely be a day trade and not a swing trade. Can any of you guys answer, right? Why would this not be a swing trade? Something that I would want to hold for a longer period of time. What about, it's an ascending uptrend pattern, right? But why would I maybe not be so motivated to continue to hold this? It would be with the simple understanding that, hey, it's not a good deal. It's not the best deal that I can take advantage of right now. In reality, it's actually at the highest price point that it's ever been in the past, 180 days. That's not a good deal. It's overbought. But it's because it's consistently uptrending. It's kind of like Bitcoin when it was really progressively pushing up. A lot of people were day trading it, but it was so overbought that people didn't want to hold it. That makes sense. It's risk management. Simple, right? Yeah, all of you guys have it. Low volatility, overextended, not a good deal, high RSI, descending Mkdi. Again, we've talked about it multiple times. Reasons. There's a reason why it wouldn't be a good swing trade. So if there's a reason and you're aware of that, why would you swing trade it? You wouldn't. That's simple. But if you're based off of hype, based off of FOMO and the fear of missing out, then unfortunately sometimes you are influenced to do something that doesn't abide by the rules, right? CRM, what's going on, Ignacio? Here we go. Okay, so again, it was a very consistent ascending uptrend pattern. We've covered this one multiple times before. It began to sell off. It tried to recover just like everything else, but then again, it's kind of showing signs of it making lower highs and lower lows. It can bounce off the SMA line. We simply have to follow up with it. I think that it's going to continue to sell off as well as, the market will follow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert here and kind of follow up with it then. Again, if it begins to show signs of an uptrend and within the day on the 1-day, 1-minute chart, does the exact opposite of this. How do we know? Again, this was trading in between the middle and bottom VWAP. So if you want to focus on day trades, look at this middle, bottom VWAP. This is a indicator on the TD Ameritrade platform. Search it up on YouTube. I have a video on it. So it's called VWAP, VWAP. You can see the purple thing right here. When something trades in between the middle and bottom VWAP, that's a descending pattern, something that's showing signs of a downtrend. When something is showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern, something like this, right? This is much more attractive. Even if your entry point isn't the best, because it's consistently showing signs of an uptrend, because the direction is in your favor, you're bound to most likely, at least be better off and have a better like chance to be in the green, right? So the direction would definitely have to change on this, and we can simply follow up with it. And yeah, I talked about the 180-day chart as well. What's going on, Javier? Ticker symbol BABA. So I think that ticker symbol BABA is going to follow a very similar pattern to a lot of the tech companies as of right now. Very aggressive descending pattern. It tried to recover recently, and then again it begins to downtrend. The EMA line is trending down. It's at the SMA line, so it might try to, which is this green line right here, it might try to act as a form of support. We just really have to simply follow up with it. Its overall direction is just not in our favor. That simple, right? So again, like there's no reason to force it. There's a lot of people that were talking about like, I want to invest in these long term. All power to you. You guys do as you guys please. I don't invest in stocks long term. I focus on intraday plays or short term swing trades when the market's there. As of right now, it just wouldn't even make much sense other than it's at a very low point based off of previous patterns. It doesn't mean that it's going to recover anytime soon. And because I like to, not keep my money in the market for too long, then it just wouldn't make much sense for me as a short-term trader to invest in this. So yeah, what's going on, Avery? So ticker symbol COST. I like this one. Did I add Baba? Yeah. So Costco helps you keep the cost low, right? That's something that Justin told me. He says that his dad says it all the time. But here we go. In a ascending uptrend pattern, overall began to consolidate. So again, something to showing signs of an uptrend. SMA line's pointing up. It continues to make higher highs, higher lows. That's attractive, right? And then guess what happens, right? It begins to kind of consolidate and offer a horizontal pattern. Then what normally happens? There's a break of support, right? So we identified a support here, a resistance here after it peaked out. So it's kind of like, do you guys know exactly what I'm going to say, what I'm going to call it off, what I'm going to use it as an example of? Remember we talked about reversals when something sells off, consolidates, and then pushes up. What's happening here? This peaked out, consolidates, and then now it's making lower lows, right? The break. This is where it normally would consolidate and bounce at, and now it made lower lows. Earnings report came out, was not in its favor. What's going on? Is it Micah? Hope I pronounced that correctly. But yeah, went through its earnings, was not a positive catalyst for costs, and acted as a huge sell-off. We might see some form of recovery, so based off of just how aggressive it sold off, it might be something that we might want to follow up with on Monday. Again, don't force the entry if the direction in the day is just not there. That's simple. So I like it. I like the dip buy opportunity, but it doesn't mean that it has to recover right away. It means that it can recover, but it doesn't mean that it has to right away. So if you buy in right now with the intention and hope that it recovers right away and the confirmation is not there, then again, you're not like dedicating your time and effort into waiting for the confirmation to indicate that, okay, it's uptrending now and stuff like that. So Charles, yeah, I did talk about NG already in the sell-off, the 15-cent sell-off that it had already. So or $15 sell-off, right? Or wait, no, yeah, 15 cents. But yeah, that's Costco. Let's go ahead and let's do a couple more. What's going on? I think that's Javier, right? Mkdi, here we go. Mankind. What do you guys think about this? Any thoughts about Mkdi? Very low volume. Again, what's the point? Just a friendly reminder. What's the point of like you planning out your trade? What's the point of that? For it to be the best stock, the best trade this week out of everything that you've come across. So something that's like just the best deal, something that's just gonna like, you plan it out, right? What about this? So it's been consolidating for some time, right? So it's kind of just been flatlining lows and highs. Very easy to see that. Not aggressively pushing up, not aggressively pushing down. There's no sign of an uptrend. I mean, it can potentially go back up to that 180 price point and the margin's decent. But what about this is the best deal as of right now? I personally don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you, right? But if you see value in it, again, it's just a friendly reminder. If you see value in it, great. I just want to remind you that the whole point of you planning out your stock and your trade for this week is for it to get you to your weekly goal and to make sure that you dedicated time and effort to pay attention to the best investment that you came across. That's all. So with that friendly reminder, just ask yourself, is this really the best thing that you can take advantage of? Acrx. Here we go. So Acrx showing signs of a downtrend, approaching this previous support that it had around 275. So we might see a bounce there. Again, just because it's bounced there before doesn't mean that it has to bounce there again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert both for the break above the EMA line and the break below the support. So what I mean by that is support right around there. It should break above this little, do you see how it bounced here and then went above the EMA line? Right here, got the confirmation of the uptrend. Right now it's getting rejected by this line. So it's showing signs of a downtrend pattern. So now we need this thing to bounce, break above this price point. I set my alert above 3. And then what's the margin of profit, right? Margin of profit based off previous patterns is around the SMA line. I'm going to be conservative and put it at 350. Margin of profit from what, $3 to 350 should be a little bit over 10%. Yeah, 16%. So Acrx. All right, sweet. Here we go, J and J. Alrighty, huge sell-off. Again, it was showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern. So Johnson & Johnson, nice. I think this is like the baby company, right? But overall, very aggressive sell-off. Potential dip buy opportunity. When would it make sense for this thing to be a potential dip buy opportunity? Like, what about it would be like, okay, this might be something that I might want to jump into as of right now. There's no confirmation right now. It looks bad. It broke its pattern, right? Broke its overall direction. So right now I'm kind of just like on the offense, right? Like, what about J&J would make sense that I should invest my hard-earned money in? Really, like, what about it? So what do I need to see? Ask yourself, what pattern, what indication do I need to see to be motivated for Johnson & Johnson to earn my money? That's simple. And whatever it is that you come up with, it doesn't matter if it makes sense to me or not, is if there's a reason behind your trade, then great. That's at least a step moving forward besides the idea of like when people just trade based off of impulse and just hope that it goes up. Yeah, I mean, 100%. It has a decent margin for it to recover. There's no question about that. Even if it goes back up to the SMA line, for such a huge company, 6%, that's huge. So having morals is enough of a reason not to buy J&J. Okay, is there like something that happened that caused them? I'm guessing some form of news, right? Let's check it out. I'm not too sure. I'll have to follow up with it. Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. Yep, then I see why that was a little bit of a frustrated comment. I don't want to talk about, I haven't read about it yet, but yeah, it looks like they're going through a form of lawsuit. So negative catalyst drives the price down, offers a dip buy opportunity, but who knows that J&J won't just continue to sell off, right? How do we know that it's not going to get worse? Based off of what you guys are saying as of right now, that could be something that could be very devastating. And that news could be so relevant that that sell-off can still continue to, bleed, right? Yeah, okay, sweet. Thank you guys again for letting me know. Here we go. Ticker symbol NVAX. Showing signs of a very consistent uptrend pattern. Not a good deal, very overbought. Descending Mkdi. It makes sense on why this thing can sell off. Again, if this thing begins to trade in between the middle and top VWAP and still offers a decent margin of profit within the day, then great. It makes sense on why it would be a good day trade. Would it make sense for this thing to be a swing trade? No, it's not a good deal. It makes sense on why this thing can break below the EMA line, break its overall ascending uptrend pattern, and begin to sell off. Just like it's done before. It pushes up, pushes up, pushes up, becomes overbought, Mkdi becomes overextended, and then begins to sell off. Bounces off the SMA line, consolidates, and then pushes up again. Then guess what happens? It'll push up maybe a little bit longer, but then it'll eventually pull back. Just understand its pattern, its direction, and kind of like the flow that it's kind of working with. So yeah, I'm just going to set my alert here, and then let's follow up with it. Here we go. Yes, I have quite a bit of call outs. What's going on, Dimitri? SQs. SQQQ. Here we go. So when this is a NASDAQ future, so when NASDAQ sells off, this thing pushes up. So obviously as the market's been pulling back, SQs has been doing good. The inverse ETF of SQs is TQs, so feel free to check that out. And the S&P futures, if I'm not mistaken, is like SPY, right? So overall, descending pattern, recent change of direction. It's been trending up based off of previous patterns. There's been a slight resistance right around that $16 price point. So again, asking yourself, is this the best deal possible? No, but can the sell-off continue to happen? Of course, 100%, right? We just now simply have to follow up with it and see how it opens on Monday, right? If it continues to trade in between the middle and top VWAP and the margin of profit is worth it, it makes sense why SQ can still be a good day trade, with the understanding that you are aware on the 180-day chart that, this is not the best deal, right? That it's bound to pull back and get rejected. So with that simple understanding, it's all good. So, yep, let's see. How many do we have? 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's do 3 more. So 3 more, and then we'll call it a day. So yeah, so many messages are being deleted. I do want to remind you that if you just post the ticker, your message will be deleted. It needs to be posted in the ticker call out format. What's going on, Satoshi? UVXY. Here we go. Very similar pattern to the overall correlation between SQs, right? Very aggressive sell-off, has been recently showing signs of an uptrend, with the general understanding that there's a resistance at $70. It still has some margin of profit. It's not the best deal possible, but it still can continue to uptrend. What was that? I don't understand that. We don't trade pump and dumps. Alrighty, here we go. So a very consistent uptrend pattern. So as long as we understand that, if the margin of profit is still worth it, great. After that, we just simply have to follow up with it. Here we go. UV, did we add this one to the list? Let's see. MJNA. A very consistent descending pattern. I don't trade marijuana companies. It's just not something that I do. It's been recently showing signs of an uptrend. Looks like it's very overbought, very overextended. Makes sense on why it's not the best deal. With that understanding, yeah, if the pattern continues and you see the day trade opportunity, whatever it is that you call it, great, all power to you. But other than that, this would not be something that I would personally be okay with investing in. Thanks for the $2 though. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Hopefully I can get some guac tomorrow. Yeah, so here we go. Ticker symbol UGAZ. Yep, just like we talked about /NG. UGAZ has been selling off. Natural gas, I mean, it's still the season for natural gas, right? So we're still within the winter months based off of the 3-year analysis. Looking at the 3-year analysis, not for this, but for /NG. Right, which is correlated to that. There's no question that it was extremely overbought, but it's around around January that it begins to really pull back. So this is a little bit early. Maybe it just became a little bit too overextended. We're right around that EMA line. Again, who knows what's bound to happen. As of right now, what are the 3 things that we've been talking about? I've been talking about it time after time, and I don't know if the sell-off is going to continue to happen. I don't know exactly what's going to continue to happen, right? But as I was day trading only UGAZ and DGAZ for the past 5 weeks, what is it that we were saying every single day is people are asking me if I'm holding any of these positions for longer than a day, anything like that. Even when natural gas was consistently, right? So a 20-day analysis. Let's do a 90-day analysis. Even when natural gas was consistently selling off and then pushing up, selling off and pushing up, I was not swing trading anything. Do you guys remember why? Why would I not swing trade something that's aggressively pushing up? So DGAZ, for example, DGAZ has progressively been pushing up recently based off of recent patterns. What about it? Why would I not be influenced to trade it, to hold it? Volatility, right? The inconsistency of that it's up 10, 20% one day and it could be down the exact same the following day. Because of the volatility, because the market was so inconsistent, I just wanted to stay away and manage my risk. That's simple, right? with that understanding, I just wanted to keep it that simple. UGAS as of right now is selling off. DGAS is the one that's pushing up. How long is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is that as long as DGAS, just like I played it on Friday, right? As long as DGAS continues to uptrend, I'll scalp it. I made nearly $1,000 scalping DGAS on Friday, and that's all I did. Investing, and I kept the Tech Buds and the Learn Plan Profit group up to date with why I was scalping it, why I would just get in and get out, and why I didn't want to touch UGAS because it was a descending pattern. So I was just going with the flow. I didn't try to predict the future or hold it and hope something happens. Something showed signs of a continuous uptrend, right? So we'll go back to DGAS. Continue to make higher highs, higher lows, and validate in between the middle and top VWAP in this overall SMA line, and I just ran with it. Again, I don't benefit from the huge pushes because I don't hold these, overnight. But guess what? Some people do. They're willing to risk it. And if they're willing to risk it and they are aware of the risk, all power to you. If you end up coming out on top, so like for those that, if natural gas or if the market were to open right now, DGAS would most likely be up another 20% because natural gas just sold off 15 cents. Which means that DGAS should experience like a 20 to 30% push if the market holds based off where it's at right now. And with that understanding, like, great, you were someone that was willing to risk it, to take it, to make that, right? All power to you. But just know that just as quick and just as easy as you made that 20 to 30%, you could lose it the day that follows. And you just have to ask yourself, again, what are you doing to not discourage yourself? If you're someone that's in a position that's willing to accept that risk, all power to you. I'm just not that type of trader, and that's okay. There's a lot of people that are okay with swing trading that. All power to you. I just want to remind you to be aware of the risk that you are taking. That's all. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Ryan. I really do apologize. I thought you were asking it as a joke. I don't know if you've been part of TechBud Solutions or Learn Plan Profit for a while. It's the first time that I think I've seen your message. But yeah, we don't trade pump and dumps. We don't trade penny stocks within our community. I do apologize that if what we said rubbed off the wrong way. I personally thought that you were just joking around or you're trying to make like a passive aggressive comment. But yeah, no, we don't trade pump and dumps. You can watch any of my recent videos. We really just try to focus on understanding what it is that we're investing in, avoid all the hype, avoid all the manipulation, and just make sure that we manage our risk. So again, I do apologize. I'll take responsibility for that. So yeah, sorry about that. Cdna. All right. All right, I'm going to do two more and then we're done. So Cdna, here we go, has been recently or during the better half of Friday, was showing signs of an uptrend and stuff like that. So here we go. Ascending uptrend pattern, overall SMA line acting as a support, resistance right around that $30 price point. Again, just set your alerts if this pattern breaks and it breaks below the SMA line. That's a break of pattern, obviously. Margin of profit to that $30 price point is pretty decent. So again, let's just wait for the confirmation and simply follow up with it. So the margin of profit from like 28 to 30 should be decent. Yeah, about 8%. So we can go from there. Yeah, so when I trade live with the Learn Plan Profit group, I trade either like, I've been mainly trading ETFs and I don't trade any low cap stocks. Yeah, so. I mean, you could watch, we have videos on YouTube that offer like what it's like to watch me trade live. If you guys have ever wondered, my Learn Plan Profit group, they're the group that I work with every single morning. They get to watch me trade live every single morning, right? So there's a video that I uploaded or I released. So it was like filmed 2 weeks ago. Like I went live, but I went from unlisted to public about 4 or 5 days ago. So feel free to click on this. You get to watch me trade live. I think I cleared a little bit over $1,000 that day, and you get to like get a taste of what you could experience if you want to within the Learn Plan Profit group every day. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Become more familiar with what it is that we do, and then if you want to be a part of it, great. And if not, then we'd love to still have you within the YouTube channel. So yeah. All right, last one. So did I add this one? All right, here we go. Let's get a good one. Ticker symbol S. What is that? Sprint? yeah, sprint, ascending uptrend pattern, consolidated, started showing signs of sell-off. Now it's more of a descending pattern. I didn't like that one. Let's do a better one. So let's see. Here we go. Ascending uptrend pattern, not a good deal. It makes sense on why it can pull back. Normally bounces around this SMA line, so this just wouldn't be the best deal possible, and it's already showing signs of it pulling back. Here we go. Let's see, AMD. Selling off, really consolidating around this SMA line. We might see a change of direction, but no confirmation just yet. So not something that I'm too excited about. Here we go, TECS. Okay, I like this one. Recent descending pattern or overall direction, but then direction change. This is going to be something similar to the SQs and TQs ETF, right? Not a good deal, but it's still pushing up. So again, if the middle and top view up within the day show signs of an uptrend pattern and the margin of profit is worth it, it might make sense, right? But overall, the really good deals based off of previous patterns is when it gets closer to this SMA line. One of the things that we've talked about multiple times within the Learn Plan Profit group is building that margin of profit, right? The more patient that you are to wait for that good deal, the less trades that you have to take and the more margin of profit that you can, make. So as something is selling off, if something offers an ascending uptrend pattern, meaning that it continues to make higher highs, but as something is selling off, if you're so quick to enter, you'll most likely still write it down a little bit before it confirms an uptrend. But the more patient that you are with that sell-off, you wait for the confirmation and for it to progressively then confirm an uptrend, then you can get in. And then again, it's kind of like that slingshot effect, right? You wait for that margin of profit to build itself, and then you get in when you feel comfortable and confident. That's simple, right? There's a lot more that goes into it. But again, that's just something that you're going to have to experience for yourself as you begin to trade. That's why we encourage our traders to do that simulation trading and paper trading so they become familiar with their investing style, their best practices, some areas of opportunity that you can work on. There's a lot of people that have been asking me and direct messaging me questions about Ricky, how do I manage my risk? How do I become more comfortable with that? How do I get more comfortable with locking in profits? How do I work on my entry points? How do I work on my exit points? There's so much. So if the stock market was something easy to be successful in, then there wouldn't be a 90 to 10, success rate. 10 to 90 success rate or 10% success rate. That's simple. You need to dedicate time and practice everything that you learn. That's why I think simulation trading is a great alternative, but it's only for those that are willing to explore it. We can't tell you what to do. It's only you that can really decide what you end up doing with your trading career. We just have a series of best practices that we share and hope that they act as a positive catalyst for your success. So that's it. If you would like to work with me on a closer basis, just like I said a little bit earlier, if you want to watch me trade live every single day, if you want access to being able to direct message me every single day and be a part of our private group chat, and then on top of that, have access for a lifetime to the Learn Plan Profit course, again, click that first link in the description and learn a little bit more on how we can stay connected and how you can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. I really do appreciate your guys' time. I really hope that it earned your thumbs up. If I didn't get to your call out, I would really appreciate if you go in, if you're part of TechBuds, which is our free group chat, just go under the watch list section and post it and then just tag me and then I'll direct message you. If you're part of Learn Plan Profit, we have a group alerts section within the Learn Plan Profit Discord chat. Post it there, tag me, and I'll direct message you my opinion of what it is that you are, wanting or see value in. So yeah, that's really just it. So are you going to be live during pre-market hours? Possibly. I'm really I don't know if I'm just jet lagged, but just from my travels in Arkansas, now back to Arizona. I'm excited to be back. I don't know if I'm going to be up that early to be trading during pre-market hours. If I see a lot of volatility during pre-market hours, you might catch me as early as 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So let's have fun with it. Wish you guys an amazing week. Let's keep it simple. And again, a friendly reminder, one of the best positions that you can take is not taking one at all. This is not a niche, right, when it comes down to investing that you want to try to expedite and learn as quick as possible. It takes time and you have to understand that. It's not going to be and you also when it comes down to actually making money, you need to first learn how to grow your account. And that's why we just have such a strong encouragement within paper trading and simulation trading. it doesn't matter how much money it is that you have, there's a learning curve, and you have to understand that. It is going to be easier for you to make money once you learn, but you need to get to that point where you could actually utilize the funds that you've worked so hard for to, make money. That's simple. So thank you guys again so much for your time. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. We'll see those that are part of Learn Plan Profit at Market Open. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.